So, aside from my first year of rants, I've never been a creator who drops daily content. That's just not what I do. I've always said I don't do the news, I explain the news. I try to take a big picture look at what's going on in our country and then let you know what I think the important takeaways are. I do it on the Politics Girl podcast, I do it with my rants, and I try and do it now on mainstream media when I can because it seems like most people there have an agenda and it is not to inform the public. So when I make videos, I do them for a reason. And today that reason is to say that I believe the Democratic Party needs a major reboot. We've done the corporate Dem thing for a long time and it is clearly not working. For the last 40 years, America has been working very well for a select group at the top, but not so well for the rest of us. And despite the fact that the Republicans are completely in bed with a group that has flourished, I believe Trump's current proposed cabinet has a collective self-worth of $360 billion. Somehow it's the Democrats, the party who support a living wage and unions and childhood tax credits and affordable health care, who have been labeled the elite. That's just bad branding. Democrats have lost the messaging war over and over again to deceit and misinformation and their own very special ability to misunderstand how to talk to people. It also doesn't help that the left has just enough of their own elites to stop us from being the truly populist party we should be. It is just not possible to continue to straddle the line between not upsetting the left's super rich and truly speaking for the people. The policies are all there. It's just the follow through that's not. The Democratic brand needs to be rebuilt. I would say it needs to be dismantled, but I'm a practical person. And I believe giving ourselves the unnecessary work of selling the country on a new party while we fight fascism just isn't a winning strategy. What we need is leadership ready to think outside the box and choose the needs of the people, which there are a lot of us, over the needs of our biggest donors. I think the donors are still ultimately going to come along because they believe in liberal values and the rule of law, and they have their own desires to defeat autocracy. But you just can't fight a rising oligarchy by favoring your own oligarchs. The truth is I've been disillusioned with the Democratic Party for a long time. But in a country that works like ours as a two-party system, you have to play the cards you've been dealt. And the Democrats, no matter my concerns, were where those of us with liberal values had to be if we wanted to win. Now, there are some wonderful representatives in the Democratic Party who really walk the walk. But at the leadership level, it often felt like they didn't quite get it. That instead of being a political party, the Democrats were more of a for-profit corporation, stuck in this let's check with the board, well, this is the way we've always done it playback loop, where any calls for change were met with don't rock the boat energy. And while that worked for many people in power, it clearly didn't work for the majority of the nation who felt left behind and left out of the country's gains. And that allowed Republicans to peel off voters who felt forgotten, even if that meant voting against their own best interests. Now, I recognize that the rapid and unchecked spread of disinformation didn't help, that trying to fight people who lie without shame, while those lies are amplified by our media without context or pushback in the name of profit, became damn near impossible by the end of 2024. But this was a long time coming. And I believe it was only possible because the Democratic Party was still trying to behave as if everything was normal at a time where clearly nothing was. They got rolled by the Republican new media messaging system. They were outmaneuvered by 40 years of court packing by the Federalist Society, outplayed by leadership like Mitch McConnell using every legal loophole to play dirty with the powers of Congress. They brought that proverbial knife to the gunfight for almost half a century, and now our country's democracy is lying bleeding on the ground. It is infuriating to watch the party with the better ideas and the better candidates who represent the majority sentiment in the nation continue to lose. Say what you will about the right wing, but they are long-term planners who play to win and their efforts paid off. Now, this is not to say that I admire the Republican Party for their lawless, despicable behavior, or that I believe the Democrats should also lie and cheat and steal. But the Democrats must at least acknowledge that this is what their opponents are doing and fight back with the appropriate fire. The pen might be mightier than the sword, but not in a battle. A bunch of sternly written letters is no match for the complete abandonment of the norms and rules. The Democrats can't govern if they don't win, and they cannot win if they don't fight. Now, I don't blame the 2024 candidates. I thought they were wonderful, and they gave me real hope for the future. My blame lies with an old institution that seemingly refuses to accept the moment we're living in. We need a party that understands this is a completely different era filled with completely different problems that are only going to get worse. This keep calm and carry on thing is going to get us killed. We need a party with the balls to protect us and not the bank accounts of those they believe will protect them. I say this with respect and admiration to many who have held Democratic leadership, but things have got to change. Enough with this red state, blue state stuff. Democrats need to be reaching out to every voter. This isn't about reinventing the wheel. They already have the policies that will allow them to do that, from paid family leaves to infrastructure to unions and manufacturing and affordable college. They are already the party advocating for freedom. Freedom to love who you want to love and be who you want to be and get medical care you need without government interference. It's the Democrats who don't want your local school or hospital to close and don't want gunshot victims in either place. Democratic positions are popular, and we need to lean into them hard. When ideas are presented to people without party labels, people choose the Democratic policy positions 80+% of the time. These are winning platforms. So why aren't we winning? The incoming president plans to rule from the top down. So I think it is essential that Democrats rebuild from the ground up. What Donald Trump is planning ultimately won't work for 90% of the country. So we need to be ready to scoop up that abandoned majority as soon as the wool comes off their eyes. I am tired of being played by billionaires and the politicians and media empires they bought to make them even richer and more powerful. I am tired of being forced onto a team where only the captains get to win. Frankly, I'm tired of losing. These are dangerous times, but with courage, they can also be times of great opportunity. I encourage the Democratic Party to be brave in this moment, to put aside the way we've always done it for the way it should have always been done. Of the people, by the people, for the people. Because the people are the underdogs now, and they deserve leadership who will fight to protect them.